is this the term? Do you think that this is the last chance that this court has to do what, in my view, would be to get it right and to tell Donald Trump enough is enough? And that even though this is a court that ascribes to the unitary executive theory and believes in a muscular presidency, there are some limits. Or do you think, I mean, is that going to be the overall view this term, that there are no limits to the imperial presidency?
So there is a theory, Joyce, to which I do not think I subscribe, which has been variously described as, I guess the best language for it is the appeasement theory, right?
Yes.
That John Roberts and the center of the court can't pick a battle all day, every day, can't quite literally usher in the constitutional crisis by saying, Donald Trump, you can't do this, and having him do it, right? And that the theory goes that we think that the whatever I'm characterizing as the center of the court, although it's a vanishingly small center, but let's call it John Roberts. And
when John Roberts is your center, you're in deep trouble.
Well, and he's right. He's not statistically the center. Brett Kavanaugh is the center, which, sit with that. But I think that what seems to me the problem is that then they're not playing a game of sort of constitutional chicken with democracy and us and the people who watch the court. They're playing it with the president, right? They are playing a game in which you and I, and by the way, the rule of law and the Constitution are kind of irrelevant. They're just trying to game out who blinks first. And if that appeasement theory is right, that they are just going to pick their battle, right? They didn't have to do it over all the, firings of agency heads. They didn't have to do it over impoundment. They let the refusal to release monies at the NIH, all of that. Okay, that's not that they don't want to die on that hill. It raises two questions for me, and I guess this animates our conversation about, is this the term? The first question is, what will be the hill they want to die on, right? I mean, they have now told us immunity. I thought immunity was the hill.
I thought that was the hill, yeah.
And so now I'm really in the, apparently there was a wobble, right, when they were sending people to CCOT. Those were the handful of times that the court has batted back some of the really worst impulses. And I know we're going to talk about the shadow docket, but we've got a sort of, 18 wins in the W column with emergency applications that the court just says, yes, 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 yes. So it raises this first question for me that is, what would have to happen for the court to say, now we draw down all of our capital and take the risk of saying no to a president who won't be stopped? And frankly, I think that's a terrifying question, but I think it's the thing we should be asking ourselves. The other side of that question, and I know I'm answering this in way too fulsome a way, but this is what
this is perfect.
I'm thinking about right now, is that with every yes, it's not a net nothing. With every time the court greenlights something that is on its own terms lawless. And, maybe we can get to the, roving ice patrol's decision from last week, where the court is just like, yeah, okay, racial profiling people based on nothing in violation of the Fourth Amendment is okay now. And we're not explaining why. Every time the court blesses something or reverses Humphrey's executor on the shadow docket, every time the court blesses lawlessness, it's not a net nothing. It emboldens the president to do the next thing. If I could explain the physics of what I'm worried about, it's that it's Zeno's paradox, right? Because we never get to the place where the court is going to say no. And at the same time, I think that the possibility that this court is never going to say no is now emboldening the president to do more and more reckless things. And so we're actually, if the court is in a game of appeasement, they're not at a standstill. They're actually pushing the president to go further. And I worry that makes the hill that the court is willing to die on forever, forever, forever unattainable.